Welcome to the Shared Practices podcast. This is season 6 on growth and marketing. As you all know, I have been hesitant to do this season for a little while. And in fact, many marketing friends of mine, like Michael Arias, have been killing me because they were saying, when are you going to do a season when I can come on and share my content? It's taken a while because there's a lot that needs to happen before you start growing your practice. Number two, it's hard to know who to trust. So we have someone today that via multiple sources, I have verified that, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. They've got the credentials to back this up. Amazing stories, amazing experiences, and a different perspective than we're used to. Minal Sampat, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for bringing on it. I have been following your show for a while now. This is a big honor for me to be here. This just means that I just have to surround myself with other cool people and then just hope that somebody's like, hey, that's a chick. Let's go try to get her on the interview.
Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into this world of marketing. I know you're a hygienist by training. You've got a different journey. So tell us about that.
Yeah, in a nutshell, I am a pediatric dental hygienist. I am also a speaker, a best-selling author of a marketing book called Why Marketing is Killing Your Business. And, the way I got into marketing and dentistry is a little bit interesting. I went to Rutgers University in New Jersey. Well, I was born in India. I grew up in the Virgin Islands in St. Thomas. If anybody has been there, it's a beautiful Caribbean ocean on one side, Atlantic on the other. It's beautiful there.
Sounds amazing. I need to go.
Well, and then for whatever reason, I decided that I'm going to leave my 84 degrees weather all year long to go to New Jersey.
Bad idea.
Great idea, right? But I did. I went to New Jersey, and I was actually pre-dental. I'd always wanted to be in dentistry from the time I was young, just because I had family in dentistry and things like that. But I realized I had a passion for marketing as well. So I studied biology and communication.
Okay, cool.
And then as a part of being a pre-dental student, you have to shadow a dental practice. Mm-hmm. So what happened was I was, shadowing this pediatric orthodontic dental practice as a summer internship during college. And they said, hey, this is great. Come on in, work for us when you want. I already had 2 jobs in college and I didn't have a car. So I said, let me graduate and then I'll figure this out. Well, lucky me, I graduated in 2008. During the crash. So I was calling anybody and everybody because I had told my father, and I am Indian, I am East Indian. So there are many stereotypes about different cultures. For East Indians, it is true. We have to be a doctor, engineer, or a business owner. That's it. So, I had called my dad last year of college and said, Dad, I really think business is more for me. I'm not sure if I want to go to dental school. And he's like, what's wrong with you? You took your DATs. You have your file ready. What are you doing with yourself? And then I graduated in 2008 and I'm like, I need to find a job. So I called this dental practice and, they clearly on the phone, they're like, hey, we are not hiring anyone. We have 60 people working here and it's a recession. It's a crash.
Wow.
So they're like, why don't you come in at noon? And I know noon is their lunchtime. So I'm like, great, I'm going to go network, meet the doctors. Perhaps something will come out of it. I mean, what else do I have going on when the whole world is crashing, right?
Right.
So I show up. The next thing I know, the office manager is interviewing me. And then the next thing I know is the owner of the practice. He comes in to the room and he's like, we have no idea what you're going to do. But we like you. We like your personality. We like who you are. And we're just going to hire you.
To be hired in a crash for no apparent reason speaks volumes. So well done.
I was shocked myself because trust me, I'm like, hold on, I'm actually getting a job. This is awesome. I can buy a car and pay rent now. This is amazing. So no, they gave me a job and they gave me the opportunity. And he's like, I want you to experiment everywhere in the office and figure out what you think will bring value to us. So I did everything. I was in the lab, I was assisting, I was doing front desk scheduling. And then clearly because I studied communication and PR, I took over their marketing. Now, 2008 is when social media was making a move, right? 2004 is when Facebook was launched, my first year of college. So I remember when Facebook was a face. You put a photo up and you write down where you're meeting to have your study group or meeting to have lunch or dinner because it was only for college kids.
Right.
But this is when it was opening up to the world. So I pretty much took over all their marketing, and the numbers started to double and triple, their new patient numbers. It came to a point where the practice I was working with, the owner, he's a well-known speaker in the dental industry. So he had the ADA and the AAPD and everybody calling him saying, "What are you doing with your marketing?" So one day, the local study club that he was a part of said, "Hey, you know what? We want you to come in and do a CE on marketing." So he comes to me and he's like, "Well, you do my marketing. So why don't you go talk?" So here I am, 20-some-year-old, talking in front of all these people who are like staring at me like, what does she know? Why is she here? What's going on? But,
Right.
that was it. And I opened my first company in 2013 by breaking Guinness World Record. Oh, yeah. During that time, I also went to hygiene school.
I was going to say,
Um,
you became a hygienist at some point. I was trying to place that in the story.
So I actually did marketing first and hygiene second,
Okay.
because I realized that if I wanted to be in a healthcare industry for marketing, I have to understand it from a clinical perspective.
Mm. Yep.
I have to know the patients. I have to understand their needs and wants. There's a different language when you have sales language compared to communication.
Mm.
And when you communicate from a clinical perspective, patients trust you. They want to be there with you. So in that same way, that's what I pretty much ended up doing. And so, yeah, I launched my first company in 2013 by breaking a Guinness World Record. And
So tell
since
us
then,
about that, 'cause I've read that online on your profile. And that begs a follow-up question. Like how did you launch a book or wait, did you launch
a
your business or
company,
launch a book?
my first business in 2013, I launched by breaking a Guinness World Record.
Okay, let's hear this.
So I'm a hygienist. I am also a woman, and I wanted to create something that was a little bit different than a launch party because, again, as a 20-some-year-old opening a marketing company where you are going to be in front of all these amazing healthcare providers, dental providers, to take you seriously, you have to show that you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to use all my marketing strategies, community, digital, social media, and my team and I, which is literally millennial women as my entire team, we got together and we said, let's break a Guinness World Record. I've always been obsessed with breaking a world record. So the world record we decided to break used to be owned by Colgate before us and was broken in Times Square, New York. As a
And
new company,
so what was the record
I'm going to tell
and
you.
what
I'm going to tell
Okay,
you.
let's hear this.
So the record actually was, are you ready for this? It was the most amount of people swishing mouthwash at the same time.
Okay. Makes sense that Colgate would do that. I mean,
Right?
yeah, that's right up their alley. So, okay,
So,
so
so
what was their
Colgate did
record?
it. So Colgate was like, I don't know, like 1,200 or something like that in Times Square, New York before us. So
Wow.
we decided to join forces with a local high school in our area. And we had the big homecoming game, and like the football players were in pink because we did it in October for breast cancer awareness. But October is also dental hygiene month. So
Mm.
we connected dental hygiene with breast cancer with a new female owned business. And then we literally had over 1,500 people in the stadium at this football stadium swishing mouthwash during halftime.
So first off, how much mouthwash did you have to buy? I want to know how expensive this was.
Oh, it was quite a bit. But the good thing is because again, we do marketing and PR, we were able to get mouthwash donated to us.
There you go.
And all the money that we raised, because we did sweatshirts and we did a whole marketing thing around it. So people were buying these pink shirts and to create awareness about Swish Away breast cancer. And the reason Swish Away breast cancer was we wanted to have oral into breast cancer, right? That's why dental hygiene and dentistry plays in. So everything, all the money we collected, we donated to breast cancer research. So we had the mayor there. We had like the local TV channels there. We had people coming in and talking about live shows. And we had stories of survivors. We had stories of people who had periodontal disease. We had stories of, so we created an entire marketing event. And well, it landed me in dentistry IQ.
Okay, nice. Well
Yeah.
done.
Thank you. And so since then, I've been very lucky to do multiple wonderful things like that. But here we are in 2020.
That's so exciting. So did you actually, how long were you like a practicing hygienist? Was that really at all, or did you just get your degree in hygiene and then straight to marketing?
Oh, no. I'm a practicing hygienist. So I actually practiced hygiene for 7 years.
Okay.
And yeah, so the only reason I don't practice right now is because my license is on the East Coast,
Mm,
because that's where I was. And now I moved to Washington State and I have to redo my entire license there if I wanted to practice here.
got it. Okay.
Bummer, bummer.
Okay. So
But yeah.
you've been practicing this whole time. Okay, so you've been doing both. You've been actually
Mhm.
taking care of patients and built a marketing business. So you're one of us side hustle people who think that dentistry isn't enough stress and work, that we have to start another business on the side. I'm right there with you.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. So what about this book? You wrote a book. Where did the idea of this book come from? And why did you feel that, like, I need to write this?
I am a marketing strategist. So what a strategist does is I have no product to sell you. I am not selling on a website. I am not selling on SEO or ads or whatever it is. Right now we hear a lot of marketing companies who are strategists. But as soon as you start talking to them, they're like, well, you need a website. You need a
Mm,
brand new website. You need a brand new this. Unfortunately, what has happened because of that is clients would usually call me when they have no idea what's happening with their marketing plan or they want to grow their business. And on average, my clients reduce their marketing expenses by 20%. So,
mm,
whatever you are spending right now, I can guarantee you that you can reduce it by 20%. So, the reason I wrote this book, Why Your Marketing is Killing Your Business and What to Do About It, is because from a clinical perspective, I was getting pissed off. I was walking into these practices that were being taken advantage of
mm.
simply because of the fact that they did not know the marketing language. And at the same time, all these people were selling them on things they don't need. All marketing works, all marketing does not work.
Explain that. So, and I love this, by the way, because like I said, this is one of our biggest fears is we don't want to bring someone on the show who's going to overpromise and underdeliver, or isn't up to snuff. So the fact that you've seen this consistently, you've got proof of it because you come in and you reduce their overall marketing budget, but you increase their patient flow and the results that they're getting out of it. Um, so all marketing works and all marketing doesn't work. Explain that.
So think about it this way: when we go online and you go to a Facebook group, right? And they're going to be, who's doing print mailers? Do they work? And half the response will be like, horrible, horrible, don't do it. Other half will be like, they work great for us. That's the only marketing we do.
Hmm,
It's not about your marketing because your marketing is just a tool. It's about who you're trying to market to. So clearly, if your patient base is going to be the people who read a mailer, then do a mailer. If your
right.
patient base are going to be the people who are online on Instagram or TikTok, then be on Instagram or TikTok. So when I say all marketing works, it's because all marketing does work. But at the same time, all marketing does not work because there is no such thing as a cookie cutter dental practice.
Hmm.
And you have to first figure out how do you build your new patient avatar? Who do you want to attract to your practice? So something that I really believe is you need to do generational marketing and understand who your patient base is, because once you know who your patient base is, you know where to market and how to get in front of. So there are some practices, like I'll give you an example. So just recently, I started working with a practice in Midtown New York, overlooking the Rockefeller Center. Now,
Oh,
that marketing is very different than a practice that I'm working with in Montana.
mm.
So the marketing strategies they're both getting are very different. So again, that's what I mean when I say all marketing works, all marketing does not work. Marketing is a tool. Just think of it as a tool. And you don't need to be on TikTok if you don't want to. You don't need to be on Facebook if you don't want to. You don't have to do mailers if you don't want to. Just do what your patients are going to react to. And that's all. That's all you need.
So if I've seen, confession here, I in the last 2 months have gotten into TikTok. So I've written it off as a platform up until that point, as when it used to be musically, it used to be kids dancing, still is to some degree. But I assumed this is not for me. This is not a platform I'm interested in. And I am hooked. I delete it at 9 p.m. every night, and I'm not allowed to use it from 9 p.m. until 9 a.m. During the day, I watch it a little bit, but if I allow myself free access to TikTok, it'll be like 2 a.m. and there's like 3 hours of my life that I don't know what happened. So I love it as a platform. However, it seems like there's some orthodontists who've done really well on there. There's a certain segment of dentists who are using it as a marketing tool. Um, because their patients are on there, because there's young people who, want to have their glow up. They want to change. So
absolutely. And then, that's just the start of it, right? So let's say that you decide to do something like TikTok, which TikTok is a time suck. It's an absolute time suck, but it's so good.
I
It's
love it.
so good.
Yeah. It's
Right?
so
It's so
authentic.
good.
There's just so much human experience and emotion in TikTok. I think that's what attracts me to it, is that it's very real,
Mhm.
and sometimes unpolished, but hilarious and emotional and, inspiring, and all of the things wrapped into one.
So let's take that example. So, like I said, the first thing is platforms. The second thing is, what do you do with that platform and how do you repurpose it, right? So you choose TikTok, then you know that you're going to create content based on what your patients are going to react to. Now, that can mean doing like a fun, trendy dance that everybody's doing, so you show up on the logarithms. That could also mean, for this orthodontic practice, let's say, creating funny videos on how to do home care, right? All the stuff that goes wrong when you try to do home care, whatever. But now what you do is you repurpose that content. So this is where the marketing really works for you. You take that video, because TikTok, it's a video platform. Even if you're not on it, you can make videos and then save it to your phone. Let's say you take that video and you put it onto YouTube. Now, when you put it onto YouTube, you start tagging that video, so you start showing up in the search results. From YouTube, you embed it to your website. So now people are coming to your website on your videos page. According to Google, 60% people spend more time on a website with a video than without. So now we are getting people to stay longer on your website. Now, let's say that you have that video. Now you can create an opt-in and say, hey, if you want other home care videos, go ahead and opt in. Now you have an email marketing sequence going on that you're attracting the new people to, right? You can take that same video, put it in your current email system for your current patients, and you could send them an email or text them the link and say, hey guys, did you see this month's X, Y, and Z? Or here's Dr. Richard doing this funny dance, check it out, right? And now you're bringing people from your email to your TikTok page. So you see, it's about, how do you take one piece of marketing and put it everywhere? How do you maximize it? Because now you did all of that for free from one video that
already
you
done the
recorded.
work on the video. So why not use it to its most, to the maximum?
Right. So, that's the one thing that we have to focus on with our marketing. That's how you reduce your marketing budget, is knowing, how can I maximize any piece of content or marketing that I'm doing? Usually what happens is, when I'm looking at marketing numbers, people would have 3 different platforms and they're all bringing in reviews for them. It's like our patient communication system brings in reviews. Our actual review system brings in reviews. We have a phone system that brings in reviews, and we are having our team members ask for reviews. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Why?
Right.
So you're spending, it's too much. So it's always reducing that budget by maximizing your marketing as well.
Interesting. So let's walk backwards then. So let's say that someone is doing a startup, or someone's doing an acquisition, and they're realizing, I don't know where to start. Like, I don't even know how to choose a platform to go on, and what's the low-hanging fruit for my patient base. How would you walk them through that process?
I will start with the same way, and I'll figure out, who do they want to attract to their practice. So are you trying to be a practice that specializes into implants, let's say, and you want to bring in perhaps more of, the seniors, the baby boomer generation? Or are you somebody who wants to fill in those hygiene seats and you want to bring in just recare patients in? So the Gen Xers, who are younger people with young families, you want to attract the millennials. Who do you want to attract? And then you do a trifecta of marketing if you're a new person. Now, the way the trifecta of marketing works is, the first trifecta of marketing is, you have to start getting known in the community. It doesn't just start with your online presence, but it starts within your community. So in your community, this is when I would literally start doing ground marketing. I would have you start going to all the different places, introduce yourself, go to the fire station, go to the police station, go to the local, 24/7 emergency care, go to the best restaurant, go to all those places, introduce yourself, tell them who you are, give them hey, all the patients who come in for the first 3 months when we open up are going to get free whitening. This is our membership plan. Start getting to know people on an individual level and care about them, right? That's the first thing. Now,
can I stop you there? Because we had Michael on for 2 episodes this season, and And I think that's something that a lot of dentists are afraid to do. Like, and maybe feels like a waste of time, feels weird, feels awkward. Do you have any examples of people doing that and really starting to gain traction on a local community level?
So here's a great way to do it. I totally understand that that's uncomfortable and kind of feels like salesy, right? Like you're stopping
Right.
by business. It looks like a salesperson. What I do is a little bit different. So I would look into our local community and I would find out who the local influencers are.
Mm,
So if you have somebody there is usually somebody who's very involved in the town. Even if you go to the Chamber of Commerce, even if you look at Instagram, for example, right? And I
right.
would hire that person. I would talk to that person and say, listen, I am new and I want you to be the person who introduces me to everything and everyone. Bring them along with that journey. Because what they can do is they can be like, hey guys, tomorrow night, it's Friday, we are going to do a cheese and wine night sponsored by this Dr. X, Y, and Z, and everyone's invited, and they can bring in the people. So start looking at who it is, the go-to person in your town who knows everybody, who's kind of very popular, or people know of them at least, and start working with them. They don't have to be a major influencer. A micro influencer is just fine. But moms are really great at this because
Mm,
moms have mom groups. So if you're trying to attract a mom, you could work with a mom group. Now that's how you go ahead and do this with, let's say, a person. Here's another strategy that you could do directly with businesses.
okay.
Find a local coffee shop in your area. Okay, so it has to be local. It can be corporate. It can be Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, none of that. It has to be local.
Okay.
Now, when you have that local coffee shop, the second thing is that the coffee shop that the kind of people you want to attract to your practice go to? And then
Mm,
this could be, and a coffee shop is one example, but it could be a coffee shop, it could be a farmer's market, it could be a restaurant, whatever you want. But let's say you go to the coffee shop and you say, hey guys, anybody who comes in today's Saturday, anybody who comes in and buys coffee today, they are going to get a free muffin on us.
mm,
So let's say I'm the potential customer and I go to the coffee shop and I said, hey, I'm going to have a X, Y, and Z. And they're like, that's great. And by the way, here's a muffin. And on the muffin, there's a little cute note that says, we hope this made you smile.
it's cute.
Thanking us for welcoming to the community. Hashtag paid forward on social media. PS, feel free to share the love on social.
Mm.
Now, if somebody just bought me a muffin for no apparent reason, and you are a dentist, and then you sign with saying your local dentist, and then it's your name, I'm gonna be like, this is amazing. This is so cool. I'm totally going to do that, right? And
Right.
so you start using businesses because what business is going to say no to you giving them money to give
Right.
their product to their customers? And the way you want this to be a local one is, so I'll give you an example, Richard, and stop me if I talk too much because, again, rabbit hole.
Great. Keep going.
Okay. So I've had a lot of practices do this strategy right now because local businesses are struggling
Okay.
and they're connecting the dots, right? So I had a practice who did this. Well, they're a multi-location, so it was a little bit different for them, but they found local restaurants, popular local restaurants in their area. And they
Okay.
know that everybody's doing takeout orders right now. So they found an Italian restaurant locally. We reached out to the Italian restaurant owners and we said, anybody who picks up the order gets free breadsticks on us. So every single order that was picked up got free breadsticks on this dental practice. And people are, communicating and giving them high fives. And they said something like, we understand it's difficult. 2020 has been difficult for all of us. As a local business, we want to support other local businesses. Are you a local business? Please reach out to us so we can see how we can support you. So now all these other local businesses are calling this practice saying, hey, what can we do together to collaborate? And at the same time, you're building structures. So, in the trifecta, your community matters. People have to know that you're somebody who cares about the community and you want to do it. Now, the second is clearly the social media part, which is let's get out there, document the journey. I'm sure you had many people talk about this, so I won't waste time going into it.
No, sorry, I'm gonna make you waste time. You're here. We're gonna talk about this. I am so proud that we still have Q Optics as a sponsor for the Shared Practices podcast. It's been almost 2 years and I'm still using my 4.5x Prism loupes. They're custom through the lens. They're beautiful. People like them. I get compliments on them. But more than anything, I love the magnification. Some people are hesitant to jump up from 2.5 to 3.5, maybe to 4 or even 4.5. I have never met someone who said, You know what? I really wish I could see less when I'm doing dentistry. I really just like, if there's decay still there, I don't want to know. I just want to close this tooth up. You should want to see as much as possible. It's going to make your preps better. It's going to make your life better. You're going to see more. You're going to catch more. The only person I can give a pass to, we had someone buy some loops and share them on our Facebook page. And I was like, oh no, why didn't you get the prisms? Why didn't you get the 3.5, 4.5? He's like, well, I'm a pediatric dentist. I was like, fine, okay, you get a pass. You can buy normal Q Optics loops. Everyone else, you should be buying 3.5 plus. You're not going to regret it. So if you're finally ready to upgrade, email sales@qoptics.com and use the promo code SP19, as in shared practices SP19, for a discount off your loops and light combo. This is one where, so we've had Jamie Amos on the show. We've had other people on the show that have like talked about this in the context of a startup. I think this is one where like a startup makes it easy to do this. Like there's a lot to document. There's a lot of building and grand opening and all of these things. We tend, our show has traditionally been acquisition biased. We've found that it's often easier in terms of not having to create everything from scratch if you buy an existing healthy practice than doing a startup. However, a lot of times you can't find a healthy existing practice and you have to, or you want to. You just, you know what you want and you're not going to buy that. It's not out there. It doesn't exist. So you have to start it. However, kind of retrofitting a cause, a vision, a purpose, and then starting a social media engine from an existing practice with an acquisition. That's something that I don't know exactly how to do that. Do you have any advice for that situation where we have a lot of people who've bought a practice in the last year, they're looking to buy a practice in the next year? What would you do in that situation?
So that's a really good question because I have had multiple clients buy practices as well. And the way you want to do it is you need to become a part of that practice culture before you buy the practice. So let's say that you decide that you're going to buy this practice, right? Now, this is when, let's say I'm just going to take random months. This is December. Let's say you're going to get the keys to the practice in March. You know, what you want to do is, so hypothetically, so let's say what you want to do is you want to start going to the practice in January. So you pick a day and a time and you start going there. What you want to do is you want to start creating videos and photos with the current owner right now. And you want the current owner to talk about how wonderful you are, how awesome you are. You want to be seen around in the practice saying that this is somebody who's going to take over the practice. This is the person who's going to come into it, right? But what you want to start doing is the patients need to know who you are. Before you have to market yourself, let them market you. Let them tell everybody that you are a part of this culture, that you are a part of this practice. So you start doing things based on what they currently have. And then what you do is you can do like, really fun, like this is something that I have done a lot of doctors that I worked with. They would go in and they would do get to know the doctor videos. So they would come live from that practice on their practice's page and say, hey, so this is Dr. X, Y, and Z. I wanted to come in and introduce myself to all of you. Here are some fun facts. And you can have an assistant or somebody interview and be like, so Dr. Richard, what's your favorite thing to eat? Like, is it tacos or is it pizza? And you start like you humanize yourself. And you start bringing to the culture and be like, so why did this doctor bring Dr. Richard in? And then the doctor will say, well, because of this and this and this. So you start marketing with what they currently have. And you become a part of that thread, that fabric that they already have, because you want to maintain those patients. You don't want to lose them.
And it sounds like this would be a great situation if this was like an associate to purchase transition where maybe you're already working there and you're buying the doctor out and you're able to be embedded in the office already. Sometimes it's hard on an acquisition to do this if, like I've known of acquisitions where the doctor like didn't want you to meet the team until the day the practice closed, just because they didn't want things to fall through or people to quit or all of that. So, maybe in those types of scenarios, you talk with the selling doctor and say, hey, I fully understand, you want to make sure the deal happens before you introduce me to your team. However, this kind of content is going to be really important to me. Would you mind doing a few of these things post sale, or recording them before the sale and then we release them publicly post sale? So I think that, because that was like the objection that was coming up in my mind. And I think there's
Mhm.
still ways to do this, even if you can't publicly come out and kind of embed yourself in the practice beforehand.
Absolutely. And that's kind of a hard thing because you can't change that seller's mind if they are going to be controlling over how they introduce you. But having an open conversation. So I just had a doctor who brought another practice, an existing practice. He did not work there; he was not associate there, but he bought it. And what we did for them is we did, and this was kind of difficult to do because pandemic, but we actually came in and we did a food truck night
Oh, cool.
in the parking lot before, so what we were doing was we were trying to get people to come to the parking lot, and he would be the one who's sponsoring the food truck night, but all the local people are coming in to pick up their orders from the food truck. So he's
Right.
actually getting introduced to them. He's getting introduced to the team. So we can get creative based on what is available to you and what is not. But like you said, which I think it's such a great point that you made, is just talk to them and say, hey, listen, is there a way that we can make this transition easier? Because they have to help you some point, because you're
Sure.
going in as a brand new person, and the patients are going to be like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" So
Right.
you want to, the whole point of acquisition is to maintain that patient base
Yep. The
and get new
goodwill.
patients. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. So you've planted some seeds of like ways that you could do this and using social media, food truck, events, I think, sponsoring, hosting things. Um, what other social media, like ongoing social media? This is where I see practices fall flat sometimes, where they're on social media, but they're not getting a lot of traction. And they're kind of posting like dental
Generic,
type photos,
generic stuff.
generic stuff. Yeah. So what works? I mean, how do you get traction as a dental office on social media, and make it so that it's sustainable? Because I know that some people are like, "Oh, I just don't want to do this. I don't want to do I outsource this?" But then when I outsource it, then it feels even more generic because it's less us. What would you do in a practice like that?
So I am a social media coach. And the reason I say I'm a social media coach is because social media only works when you have somebody inside your practice managing it.
Hmm.
It's as simple as that. Even if you were to be like, "Hey, Manal, we're going to hire you for your social media," I'm not there. I don't know your culture. I don't know your practice. I can't document it. And I laugh about this all the time because all these, let's say Facebook, right? The first word in Facebook is face. They're not
Mm.
even playing around with you. They're telling you what works. It's like, put a photo up, put a video up. We want to see your face. Like Instagram is Insta. What's happening in your life instantly? Share those photos and videos. A part of social media, and it's really hard to stay consistent. This is why you need an internal, I call them marketologist. You need an internal marketologist. And the internal marketologist is somebody whose job it is to create from beginning to end a social media strategy, right? So, what are you going to post? When are you going to post? How are you going to post it? How are you going to leverage it? And you want to have, here are some very specific tips based on logarithms.
Okay.
On Facebook, you're going to want to post 4 times a week.
Okay.
That's a minimum requirement, 4 times a week. Now, the way Facebook logarithm works is very different. I see you taking notes there.
I am trying to be sneaky. It's not working.
So the way this works is there is something called edge rank, and edge rank is kind of the logarithm where this is how it works. You know how when you go shopping online, like I love to shop shoes. I'm an enthusiastic shoe lover. Every time I go online, let's say I go to Nordstrom and I'm looking at shoes, those shoes follow me everywhere. And it's like
Mm.
I end up just buying it. But how does Facebook know that I like those shoes, right? There is something called edge rank. The way edge rank works is it shows people what you like on their feed, because Facebook doesn't want you to get bored. Instagram doesn't want you to get bored. They want you to stay there. So it shows you what you like. So they have all the details available to them because you are being tracked with where you shop, how you shop, when you shop, how much money you spend, the whole thing. The bottom line of this is the highest currency on social media are not the likes, are not the loves, are not any of that. It's comments,
Mm.
are absolutely comments. Think about it. When you have somebody's birthday post and they had a birthday a week ago, it still keeps showing up on your feed. And you're like, their birthday was last week. Why does it keep showing up?
Right.
People are commenting. Like there are times that I will bring back a post. I just recently brought back a post from last year, which is trending again this year. It was a year-long post. but people are commenting, so it brings back. So the bottom line of your content should be, if you post 4 times a week, can I get a comment on this? Can I get a comment on this? Now, if you're looking at the likes and the hearts and the care, all of that, the like is good, but the heart matters more. So when somebody hearts your photo or video, they love it. They don't like it. They love it. And that matters more in a logarithm. So when you post 4 times a week, if your content is creative and you're getting engagement, that content is going to keep publishing on their feeds. That's why you don't have to post multiple times when it comes to Facebook. Now, a great way for you to leverage that is, let's say that you have a post and your post is doing amazing, right? Like people are loving and liking it and so great. Boost it to people who like your page and their fans. So that's an option. When you press boost, people who like your page and their fans, boost it for 4 days for $5 a day. So that's $20.
I'm still writing. People listening to this podcast, they're like, why isn't Richard saying anything? Because I'm writing. So boost to people who like your page and their friends. And their friends.
For $5 a day for 4 days. So $20 total.
Okay.
Now, the question that I usually get is, why am I going to boost this to the people who already like my page? Isn't the whole point to get new people to like my page?
Well, you just said, and their friends.
And their friends. But here's the thing. How many times have we gone on a timeline and we see a sponsored ad, but if it has no comments or likes or anything, what do?
We ignore it.
But what happens when we see something and there's a bunch of comments and posts and things like that?
Oh, I immediately go to the comments. I want to know, are people actually using this thing, and what do they think of it, and what are their comments, and all of the above? Is there drama related to this product, and are people outraged? Or, I want to know.
So if you were to take a post and boost it to people who like your page, who are your cheerleaders and their friends, they're going to comment on that, right? Oh, Dr. Richard is so awesome. This review is totally cool. Like, he did the same thing for my mom and she's so happy now with her smile. So now you take that post and then you reboost it to your target audience. So when the target audience sees that post, they're going to be like, oh, look at all these comments and this love. Like, this doctor must be awesome.
Brilliant.
That's a strategy. So, with social media, you kind of need to know how can you leverage that. And think about it in real life. Like, every time I want to get in front of, so just you and I, what you just said earlier today, the reason I'm here today is not because of me, really. It's I'm here because you saw that I was connected to this person and that person and that person. Same strategy, just on social media. So, So many cool ways.
This is great. And I'm maybe we'll have to do a whole separate episode on more social media deep dive.
Yes.
Because I feel like each platform is its own language, and has its own strategies. And then once you add advertising on top of it, it's another layer of strategy and complexity. So, videos that do well on one platform might not do the same way on another, or you need to format them differently for certain platforms. And the nuances matter. Like, that specific combination of things you said right now works. But you've figured that out through trial and error and through testing and seeing what works for people. So maybe you interested in ever doing a part 2 on a deep dive on social media?
Oh, I love social media, of course. Yeah, thank you. I would love to do it.
Okay.
So going back to the original question, I said there was a trifecta of things. So, the first was the community, the second was your online activity engagement. And the third one is your reputation. Your reputation matters. So what that means is, let's say that I know you're going to walk and be like, well, people need to get to know me before they write a review. I get it. But if you're making an acquisition, you probably already have some reviews elsewhere, right? Now, if you were to go to my website, minalsampat.com, I have a tab on my website that says reputation.
Yeah, I clicked on it actually.
Oh, was it
on the call?
Okay, was that the only tab you clicked on? Did it grab your attention right away?
I think I went to the main one and I didn't click on contact. I didn't click on press, live show, book. No, I clicked on, it's currently the tab open. I switched over from the tab we're recording in and yeah, with Linda Miles and other people. And I was starting to scroll through that when you finally hopped on. It was perfect.
So that's the thing, right? It's psychology. People really don't care what I do or how I do it. because there are other people can do what I do or how I do it. They care, is it Minal? Is it the reputation? So there is a reason I have the reputation tab. It's actually the most visited tab on my website.
Yeah.
Because that's where people
this
go.
little experiment, just like it worked on me. You got me.
Well, because we are nosy by nature. And it's like, what does she mean by reputation? It doesn't say reviews. It doesn't say testimonials. It says reputation. Now, in that same way, what is your reputation? What are people saying about you? So as soon as you start this acquisition or building a new practice, you need to have on your landing page reputation about you. That means people you've worked with. That means your speaking engagements if you are speaking. That means the organizations you're a part of. Let's make you the superstar. Let's make sure that anybody who lands there is like, wow, look at them. They're really loved and liked.
Right.
Again, psychology. Make people fall in love with you before they even see you or they meet you. And if you start with that reputation factor, it's going to pay you back in so much, because that's what people want. They don't care about how fantastic your sales pitch is. Let's all be real here. I mean, we are smart, okay? When somebody's trying to sell us stuff, we know it.
We feel it. Mm-hmm.
We feel it. We know it. Even though you have this, sales is not a 4-letter word or whatever. I don't believe in any of that. Maybe that's too rebellious of me in the marketing world, but it's the truth.
Well, and I did a whole season on case acceptance because coming out of the Army as an Army dentist, my case acceptance is fantastic because my soldiers had to say yes, sir, and get the treatment done. But coming into the real world of dentistry, I think there's ways to increase the likelihood that patients will take care of their own teeth without making them feel salesy or pressured or weird. And that right there, I think, is the true art form. Is people make decisions, and if you come in real heavy-handed and yucky and salesy, I think that backfires. So I agree with you. I also disagree with you. So we can agree to disagree.
I think no, but that's a great way of putting it, right? Because you're not putting the sales language. Because I'm sure in somewhere in what you talked about listening to their concerns, making sure that you make them feel comfortable, making sure that they are heard, and they feel like you have the best interests, their best interests, not you buying a boat, as they say, but their best interest at heart. So all of that is not sales, so that's really great that you did that as well. I love it.
Well, cool. Well, so we've got the trifecta now. I guess with the reputation, to circle back to this one, we're gonna look at your page right now. So you've got like a key like influencer talking about you. Then you've got like stuff you can scroll through, and then like just reviews upon reviews, and then a video testimonial, and then like more video testimonials. Does this same format work for a dentist website if they wanted to do a similar thing and have a tab that said reputation?
The reason I did this format is, again, after quite a bit of experimentation. And that's because when you have a page that just has videos, people get bored. It's overwhelmed, like, ooh, so many videos. When you only have photos, it's like, oh, okay, so many photos. So what I was doing was, again, playing to the psychology of people, because I look at myself and I'm like, what's going to attract me if it tells me that there's different things I need to look at? So let's put that ADD that we have on social media on the page. Right? Like we have the ads coming up, we have the sponsors coming up, we have our friends' timeline coming up, we have somebody's birthday coming up, we have a Facebook group notification coming up. So that's why, and then clearly I had to feature Miss Linda Miles because, well, she is absolutely brilliant and amazing. And I was very honored to have worked with her, that she actually wanted to work with me. So, clearly I put that out there for obvious reasons.
Right.
And then, and then you kind of build it accordingly. And then you also try to make sure you put down different things. So let's talk about this, because this is an important topic. If you go to my Facebook page, right, like my Minal Sampat, if you just go to Facebook and just do Minal Sampat and go to my personal timeline, if you go to my personal timeline, you will see that I tend to share testimonials and videos and stuff that I get from people where I am usually, there's something or the other that's a little bit different, or there's just a bunch of stuff there. But you will see that I tend to take out people's name when I post stuff online without, trying to do it. Now, many times people will come and say like, well, how do you know that actually happened? How do you know this is not made up? Because you're covering up somebody's name. Now, the reason that I do that is like, on December 2nd, I shared Real Talk with Minal. I was talking about a small thing because I train team members to become marketologists. And I posted
You got
something.
this email. You can see this vignetted email with the marketing director's
Yeah,
name linked out.
yeah. So I blank out people's name because I am that person. Just because I feel that before, when I used to put people's name, like I'll put down, let's say you put a review about me and I put your name, they're going to, just start bothering you or start stalking you. And you should not be annoyed because of me. So I always block it when it's on my social media. But if you go to my website, you see people's names.
Okay, gotcha.
Because on my website, I ask them permission to not only share, but the permission to put their full names or whatever they allowed me to do. So there are times when people will always be like, hey, Minal, should I cover the names or not? That's up to you on how you feel like privacy. Clearly, if there are names, they'll be better. Like if you scroll down, Richard, on November 18th, I don't know if you're still on my wall. There's a video.
Oh, yeah, no, I've scrolled down past that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The DVD. Here we
It's
go.
DVD, right? There's a bunch there. Yeah, but even in that video, now that video is great because somebody actually gave me the video and said, blast it out, and I don't care if you put my name. But cool. Even in that, you will see that I just have their first name. I did not tag them. I did not put their full name. But again, it's a real person talking about this. She is, real. So when it comes to reputation, you do want to be a little bit of a conservative in my perspective, because you don't want to piss off the people or make the people angry who love you and are talking about you.
Sure.
So be mindful of that. Always ask for permission, even if you're going to share it. And if you're not going to ask for permission, or if it's something where they're like, oh, put my name out, just do it. Just block the name out. And, I think it will take me many hours to make an email look like an email to show up like that and post it. So
it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah, it's totally worth it.
So I love this because all of this is engendering trust and just a sense of like, okay, this person's legit. I think there's with your review page,
reputation page.
I'm sorry. As I was reading, there was a certain point where my brain was just like, okay, this person's awesome. Check. And so like that's what you're going for, is that you want patients before they show up, that between what they see on your social media, what they see on your reputation page, on your website, on these different platforms, they realize, okay, this is a stand-up individual who is doing great things and people love them. I want to be part of this practice. I want to go here. And it's almost like you just get enough, like, okay, enough information, my brain says, yes, this person is good. And that's the moment you want patients to have.
Absolutely. Because if you have that trifecta, right? So let's say they find you on Google because they searched you, then they go to your reputation and like, they're legit. Then they go to your social media and they're going to be like, okay, they're super awesome. Then you're like, you know what? But I saw them at that fair the other day. Oh, that's that dentist. Oh, so we should totally go there. Now, if they build that trust before they even come to your practice, and then we can have a whole other thing on internal marketing, but there's a whole patient journey involved. But let's say they come in and you live up to that hype. You live up to all that incredible reputation and who you are as an individual and a dental practitioner. Then even when they come in and if they have a recur appointment, a dental appointment, a treatment appointment, imagine how easy your case acceptance would be, because they trust you already.
Yep.
Right? So there is something called inbound and outbound marketing. And one of that is being on top of a building that's outbound, where you're on top of a building with a microphone saying, look at how amazing I am. Look at how great I am. Inbound marketing is a whisper where you are not saying anything. Everybody else is talking for you. And that's more powerful because people trust other people, not you.
We want inbound marketing. A lot of people focus on the outbound marketing of, dumping a bunch of money in different places to tell everyone how awesome they are. When in reality, if they had a whole network of people sending people their way, they'd be so much better off.
Yeah. See, we're on the same page.
Hey, I think we're going to have to wrap this up here. We're about to hit the 50-minute mark, but sounds like you said internal marketing and referrals and maybe another deep dive in social media. I really think we might have to have you back for a part 2 if you're down with it.
I'm totally down with it. This was super fun and conversational. It was great.
Well, if people want to find out more about you, what's the best way if they're interested in your book? This is like the plug zone. Talk about where people can get more Minal.
Sure. If you go to minalsampat.com, that's MINALSAMPAT, that's my website. You could check out the reputation page for yourself
Right.
if you want. And hopefully that will just give you enough marketing for me to give me a call and schedule a discovery call. I don't know if you need more than that, but really, I like to connect with people. So if you go to facebook.com/real talk with Minal Sampat, you will see an actual Facebook profile. If you go to Minal Sampat LLC on the Facebook page, it will tell you to go to my Facebook group because, again, I don't believe in traditional marketing. I believe in marketing where I'm connecting with people. And the way I connect is I actually do become your friend. And I do want to get to know you, and I do want to get to see what you are doing and I'm doing. So send me a friend request. I share openly. I give a lot of great information. Oh, and then when is this launching, by the way? When does we go out?
So we're probably, I think, 2 weeks out. I've got other stuff. You're going before some other stuff for lots of reasons.
Okay. Well, all right. That's kind of cool. So the other thing that and my book is on Amazon if you do Minal Sampat, or if you go to my website, it's Why Your Marketing is Killing Your Business. And I was very lucky that it became a #1 Amazon bestseller. So
that's
yay.
Awesome.
But the last thing I want to talk about, and I haven't talked about this to anybody in the interviews, but I feel like we are a kindred spirit. Yeah, I feel like we're a kindred spirit here and we are on the same page. So I am actually launching what is called, it's going to be a marketing strategy school online. So I'm teaching marketing strategies, and the school is going to be called Marketologist because that's what I do. And that launches in January. So I'll be looking for some beta practices to join that. I see you nodding your head really like, yes, let's do this. So I am looking for some beta practices in January who would want to take that course for, whatever I come up with, because the launch will happen in March. But if you're a new practice, acquisition practice, maybe this is something that you want to consider. I would love to chat with you just about it, just so you kind of get an idea. Because the last thing I want is for you to spend a lot of money in marketing. And then 3 months in, 4 months in, you're like, there's nothing happening. So, and again, like I said, I have no product to sell you. So I am not going to sell you on anything. I'm not going to be the person saying, you need a website. I may literally come out and say, you don't need a website. Just focus on your Google business page. It's free. Work on your reputation. Forget the website. Work on your social media or whatever. So that's just a little FYI and a little plug for Marketologist. But yes, please reach out if you are an interested practice who wants to be in the beta phase.
That's awesome. I love that earlier you called it an internal marketologist. I feel like that sounds like a specialty in medicine. Like there's your internal cardiologist, your internal marketologist, like, you're just, one of those medical specialties. So I love the name. It's great.
Well, my husband's a physician and he's internal medicine. So it all gets connected.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and for sharing what you've shared, and for agreeing to come back for a part 2. This has been a lot of fun. So thank you.
No, thank you for having me. Like I said, I've been a silent stalker of this podcast. So I'm super excited. My networking skills worked to get me on here. Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast.
Well done. Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Minal. And we will talk with you all next time on the Shared Practices podcast.